Hey guys, welcome to Big Sister. I hope you guys are enjoying your day today. Such a busy day for me, and it's still gonna be busy. But I want to talk with you guys today about happiness. Are you happy? Are you happy with your life? Are you happy with where you are in life? Are you happy with your achievements? We live in times where it seems as if being happy is sort of the same as when you say tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow, but then does tomorrow ever come? Because tomorrow there's going to be another tomorrow. So when is it tomorrow? Was yesterday tomorrow? Is today tomorrow? Is tomorrow tomorrow? Because when we get to tomorrow, there's going to be a tomorrow. Is happiness the same way? Why are so many people unhappy? Sometimes you think that, well, if I just had money, I would be happy. If I had a relationship, I would be happy. If I was a shareholder, I would be happy. If I retired and had all this money, I would be happy. But then you find people who has that. They have the beauty, they have the brains, they have the brawn, they have the athletic abilities. They have the property. They have all those things. They just got promoted. And they're still doing the unthinkable. I think some of us have seen things that came on the news. Person just got promoted. The person with all the education and all the bachelor's degrees and the beautiful family and the beautiful house and the cars and the riches, they are taking their own lives. Some of them are not only taking their own lives, but they're taking the lives of their families and their children. A lot of them are depressed. A lot of them are on drugs. I mean, if you really look at a lot of the celebrities in the world, a lot of them are taking drugs. Why? Because drugs, like alcohol in excess, gives you this euphoric feeling. It makes you feel good. You see a lot of wealthy people being the nastiest individuals, and because they have power, or depending on the position they're in, they're the worst people. They mistreat their staff. They are belligerent. They have so much power. They are abusive to police officers because they're miserable. They're not happy. And the point that I'm trying to make to you is that sometimes we think we would find happiness if we had the perfect body. If you have the perfect body, you're thinking, I'll be happy if I had this, if I had that, if I had that car. And the reason why I believe this happens is because too often people are trying to follow this script and what society is telling you should do and you should be to be a happy person. They will tell you what success is. Granted, we live in a society where you need your education. You need to know how to read and write and spell. Okay? But there is a script that we all follow as citizens. And depending on where you are and what your culture calls for, there's also a set of guidelines and social norms that we are going to follow. But even with all those social norms, it cannot bring you happiness. And the reason why we may have issues with happiness and being happy is because a lot of times we're always looking at the next person and what they are doing. You're probably in school, you're comparing yourself when you're a kid. When you're young, and I would say from maybe kindergarten or pre-K to maybe third grade, you're not even thinking, maybe even fourth grade, You're not thinking of, you're just having fun. But then somewhere, someone will say something, whether it's a relative, you hear it in passing, or you hear the teacher, or you hear another student, will say something to you where you've never thought about it. Whether they're making a critique about your body, whether they're saying you're very beautiful, you look better than this person, or they're telling you you're not, or they're telling you you're not smart enough, and they're comparing you to someone else. And then you look at television, and there are all these messages that's constantly being pumped into your brain about what you're supposed to be and what is acceptable. And if you're not this, then you're the problem. Then it is hard for individuals to truly be happy. Why are people not happy? Oh, well, all you have is a high school diploma. You didn't go to college? You go to college. Oh, you went to that college? You didn't go to this college? You went to community college? You didn't go to an Ivy League school? Then you're in school. Oh, your grade point average is that? Oh, you're not in the gifted and talented program? Oh, okay. And then you get your job. Oh, that's the job you have? Oh, you didn't get this? You should have got this job. And then you get your house. Oh, you got a house in that neighborhood? Oh, you should have got this house. You have an apartment. Oh, this is where you live? Oh, you only have 2 bedrooms? I have 3. You don't have a condo? Then you get the condo. Oh, you didn't get the beachfront condo? You have the phone. Oh, you didn't get this new version of the phone? You got your car. It's time to give it up. Why didn't you get this brand of car? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you on TikTok dancing and prancing in your frame? Sometimes, honestly, I look at TikTok, and TikTok, sometimes it's just too much. Like when I open TikTok, I get irritated for some reason and I think they changed that, because when you open TikTok, it's just noise, just stuff going on, and it's like brain overload. Okay. But when you look at it, to me, it's like you're at the zoo. And I don't mean this in a bad way, and I don't mean this to anyone who's on TikTok or do things on TikTok. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are different things to see. If you scroll it's like you're at some zoo, okay? And you will see a lot of fascinating things. You just scroll, you keep going, you're going to see this, and you're going to see that, and you're going to see this performance. And please keep in mind, when I say a zoo, I don't mean it as far as saying anyone is an animal. I mean, when you go to the zoo, you go there because you're going to walk through, and every time you go to a different part of the zoo, with every step you make, you're going to see something fascinating, unusual, some exciting, some not so exciting. Some things it's like, oh, what's going on here? And then you keep going. It's like entertainment, and that's just how it is. You see just about anything on TikTok, okay? So when you're watching that and you're looking at that and you see the goals, the power couples and couple goals and this person's beautiful and this person's getting all the attention, and then you're like, let me get my TikTok up. I'm going to do TikTok. What are you going to do now? You're going to compare yourself because you don't know why you're not getting as many likes, and you want to know, you don't understand why you're not getting, why you don't have people on your lives, and why you're not getting any hearts, and why you're not getting any gifts, because you're always comparing yourself to someone. And a lot of times we miss happiness that's in the most simplest things, guys. I'm not telling you that you cannot achieve things and you cannot reach your goals, but I am also telling you not to try to follow everything that everyone is trying to tell you. The basic things you want to be able to do is to be able to provide yourself food, clothing, shelter, a way to get around. You want to be able to do these things and have some friends. You don't have to have a bunch of friends, okay? And sometimes it may take you longer to make friends, because I personally believe that you may know a whole lot of people, but they're not all your friends. And sometimes real friends and true friends are hard to find. So therefore your circle will be small. And there are people who are they are so strong in their mind that they can literally be by themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But society will try to tell you, oh, there's something wrong with that. You're not hanging with anyone, you're not doing anything. Study shows, according to statistics. Who's coming up with these statistics? According to who? So then you will feel bad because you're a loner. You happen to really enjoy hanging out and by yourself and doing things and painting and walking and taking long walks or doing things, and people make you feel bad. So now you can't be happy with yourself because people say that you're weird. People say that you're weird. Something is wrong with you if you don't, what, you're not married? Oh, you don't have children? What? You're a virgin? What's going on? You're not wearing the latest? You're not hanging out with us? You're not coming here? You're not going to invest in this? You're not going to invest in that? And this happiness can be further, what is the word I'm looking for? People can really exacerbate the unhappiness even in their children, because you have parents, maybe they were corny, what people call corny. Maybe they were not popular, and what they try to do is they try to live their lives through their children. Oh, you're going to be a cheerleader, you're going to be a footballer, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Sometimes they were nerds, right? And maybe they weren't that attractive, but life and money, they were able to transform themselves. And then they have a child that looked just like how they looked when they were young. And they can't accept their child. They are ashamed of the child because the child is not the way they want the child to be. The child came out and looked just like them, and they're doing everything in their power to either push something on a child. They want the child to look a certain way, dress a certain way, so they can feel better about themselves, or join certain groups so that they can now say, oh, my child is in this organization, my child is a doctor, my child is a lawyer, my child has been accepted here or there. And so therefore the parent is never satisfied and is always making the child feel as if they are worthless. And then you have your cultural norms, what life and society say that you should be. And you have to follow that now. Oh, you've got back fat? You should be publicly stoned. You should be skinny. You don't have an apple bottom? Oh my gosh. You're not tall? You're a short guy? Oh no. I could barely see you over the hedges. No, we can't be together. Oh, you're so skinny. You don't look like this person. You're not light enough. You're too light. You're not dark enough. You don't have double eyelids, which I hear Asian people talk about. I have no idea what that is. You're not anorexic thin. And then other places you're too skinny. I like someone that's fat. I like some meat. I like some thick thighs. They're always something. You get a phone, a new model comes out. You get a car, another model comes out. No matter what it is, you have to realize there's always going to be something else. And life and posters and advertisements are always telling you what you are supposed to be. And as long as you keep following that and you keep believing that, you'll be unhappy. People are unhappy because they don't know how to enjoy the simple things. Enjoy life. I have a car. I have a place to live. I can put food on the table. But people make you feel, if you're not driving a certain type of car, and if you're not living in a certain kind of neighborhood, and if you're not wearing certain types of clothes, then you're not really living. So then you're always pushing for that, and you're trying to get it. And then if you can't get it, you feel unhappy, and you feel like as if you're an underachiever. And this can cause such depression and sadness. And then you have people who are so vacant and has no character, that they're going to tease and they're going to ostracize individuals who they feel are not cool enough. And so that's why you have children being bullied at school, and then they thought they have grown out of that, and then they find bullies at work and things happen, and then now that person either self-destructs, sometimes it's fatal, or other times they turn around and they blow up and they do horrible things to people. I'm not saying that this is an excuse. I'm just not a person where someone goes out there and they take a bunch of people's lives and they do some mass fatalities, and then I need to listen to the fact that they had a sad childhood and then they were abused, and I'm like, but you didn't die. Regardless of how horrible that parent was or parents were, and yes, it's legitimate what they did to you, you have just upped the ante and you are about 100 times worse than they are, because regardless of what they did, and yes, it was horrible, but they did not kill you. And now you go out here and you take people's life and you harm a baby, or you harm a child, you harm an old lady, and you go out there and run through a group of people, and now I'm supposed to hear about your childhood. That's nonsense. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I think there was only one case I had heard where a man, his last name I want to say was Elliott.
Correction, his name was David Katz.
He was a gamer, and he went out there and he did some really terrible things. He took the life of a lot of people, and I believe he may have taken his own life if I'm not mistaken. And when you look back at his life, you saw this guy, his mom, allegedly, you have to say that, had been putting this kid on all these medications from he was young, and his father did not agree, and the mom was like, she's, drugs that had not even been approved, FDA approved, she's just putting him on all these different things. So she literally, if this is right, was just putting drugs and different things in him to try to help him to behave. And that stuff messes with your brain, and a lot of these things that's supposed to calm you down will have some side effects. I'm not telling anyone that they cannot take their medications. I'm just saying when you read you read the fine print, if you ever sit and read these things, you'll see some of the drugs that's supposed to help with your moods and to help to calm you, the side effects are horrific. So this young man, he was just trying to find himself, and he was gaming, and you could just see that he was even disconnected. And he ended up doing something really crazy. He took a lot of lives. He was being bullied by a specific person, and this kid, and I think he came up and he wrote a book about how, with gaming strategies, and this guy that was bothering him, bullied him, got his book and somehow posted it so people got the strategies for free, and all these things happen, and the guy just lost it, and he took a bunch of lives. I think it's not justified, but this is the only time, one of the few times, guys, that when a person did something, and I'm not saying it was okay that he did this thing, but I was like, could see how what happened to him as a child would have brought him to this place. But it's just still not okay, guys. So the point is, this happens because people are not able to enjoy the little things and the simple things in life. There's so many things, guys, I try to resist getting. I try to resist certain things. I don't want to buy that. I don't want to do this. Because when I think about certain things like, you have a car. You have to have a car. But I immediately think, I have to make payments. Not only do I have to make payments on the car, but I have to pay for insurance, and then I have to maintain the car, right? But it is a necessity. When you think about it in the grand scheme of things, then I'll be on a bus or needing rides and all these things. So having a car is a necessity because it's going to give me freedom, and it allows me to do a lot of things that normally I would not be able to do if I did not have a vehicle. Certain things like a house. I go, I don't want a house. I don't want to have a mortgage, or I don't want to have to pay, get some loan for how many thousands of dollars. I don't want that, because I'm like, I just want to live a simple life. I just want to chill. And I honestly think that way. I don't want that. But, well, I can keep living in an apartment or renting out things. But you think of how much you're paying, you're probably going to come out better getting yourself a house. Yes, you're going to have to invest in take care of your own things. But the grand scheme of things is it's your home. Right? But you can keep it simple. You don't have to get a big house with acres and acres of land and all of this. Sometimes people get those things and they're so miserable and they're so unhappy trying to keep up with that. People are trying to have the perfect body because, oh, I feel like I have to look this way because no one's going to accept me if I look any other way. And people are going and getting booty injections and they're doing all these different things and they're working out because maybe someone cheated on them with someone who had the perfect body, or they told them that you're not attractive, or their family makes them feel as if you need to lose weight. So a lot of times, guys, it's simply that people cannot appreciate the little things. And I want you to take time out to really look at your life and look at yourself and realize sometimes you already have things. You don't have to try to do things like everybody else. And you have to have the mental fortitude, and you need to have the mental fortitude, and you also need to have the self-realization to know, hey, I've achieved some things and I'm good. You have to know when you feel good having I have an associate's degree, I'm happy. But no, life tells you, no, you're supposed to have a bachelor's. You get your bachelor's. No, you're supposed to have a master's. Or you got your master's. Oh, you need a doctorate. You get your doctorate. And you still going. You just forever in school. And now, of course, you have degrees. Now you have these bigger jobs. That's going with more responsibilities and all this stuff, and you're getting more money, but then you have more time away from home. There are doctors who hate being doctors, but they became doctors because that was what was required of them. You understand what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden that doctor does something crazy. And you're like, why would you do that? You're a doctor. You have a house. You're beautiful. You have a beautiful family. Why? Because they were never happy. Because they were constantly trying to meet everybody's quotas. You understand? I want you guys to understand that it's okay to enjoy the simple things in life and not feel like you have to do everything exactly like everybody else is telling you. I'm not telling you to just lay around and not try, but it's okay to say, I'm done. I've achieved enough. I am happy. I can take care of myself. I'm okay in my small apartment. I'm okay in my small house. I'm okay in my cottage. I'm okay with my tiny beachfront. I'm okay with my boathouse and living a simple life. I'm happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. If we can learn to stop trying to be like everybody else and really appreciate ourselves and stop trying to meet what the world says is beautiful and what the world says is successful, and stop feeling bad about what the world is saying, oh, this is not acceptable, this is how you're supposed to look, and this is what you're supposed to be. Allow yourself to learn. Allow yourself to explore life. Allow yourself to figure some things out. And you will learn things. You will learn what is morally and ethically acceptable when it becomes real to you. When you allow yourself to just be you and not trying to be what everybody else wants you to be. A lot of people are not happy because they're trying to maintain something, and once they've achieved and they have all the money and they've done all these things, now they're stuck. They have to keep up the facade, and it's difficult, and they're unhappy and they're empty. Have you ever wondered how I've looked and seen people that are poor dirt poor, living like under a tree, and they're just smiling and happy. I've watched this show on YouTube, and it's a Korean show. I never understand anything, but it starts like, wow, that's their intro. And I see people that's living with diseases and warts and bent over, and these people are getting up every day doing what they need to do. And then you have someone who has a house and who has everything going, I can't take it anymore, and literally losing it. I have looked at even some people that I see, they don't even look like they're living their best life, and they're just smiling. I'm not saying they don't have sad moments, and it is tough, but why is that? And some people, you may have all the money in the world right now, but you look back and you think about how happy you were maybe living with your grandmother or your grandparents. They had a little farm, they had a little house. You think about those good times. You think about simple times. And then technology just takes over everything, right? You always feel like you have to be this avatar. Now you can be an avatar. So now you can be this avatar, and you can put yourself up to this filter and look totally different, and you live in this different world, and then you turn around turn it off and you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I'm looking like one of the Berenstein Bears. I'm not happy. You get your Oculus and you get in there and you're in this different world. It's like, whoa, it's nice, you're by the beach, and then you take it off and you're like, man, I'm still on Skid Row. But you have to be able to take things in perspective and understand that what's in the Oculus and what's on the filter, that stuff is been created. You're the real deal. Learn to know when it's time for you to just stop. I'm happy. I've achieved enough. I've done enough. Go down to having the bare minimum, meaning the whole big house full of all these things. I've seen people get rid of all those things and they feel so much better that they just have a small place. A lot of times, guys, the reason why we can be broke and have all this problem, you make enough money, but you keep buying these things that bleed you dry financially. No, I want to buy this type of car, and so your money is going into that. No, I want this type of house, and so all your money is going into that. I want this condo, and then you get your condo, but you still need to pay your homeowners associations things, and those things can be pretty high depending on where you're going. And there's some people, they make money, they don't even feel it, but they're squandering their money, and it's just ridiculous. And then at the end of the day, you see these CEOs and wealthy people taking their lives. So guys, I'm gonna stop here. This video has gone on long enough. I just want to let you know and encourage you to find your happiness, to learn yourself and not what society is telling you to be, and be courageous and strong enough to say, this is who I am, and be happy being yourself and not trying to fit the bill of society or trying to fit the mold of society. All right, guys, talk to you soon.